Hey guys, Blue,
Delta.
and we're bringing you the first deck profile in this new wave. So, like we recently established with the duel for this is the first wave of decks to come out underneath the umbrella of the Dexpo. The GX waves were not really a part of that. They were just coming out with the timing of the Dexpo. But this is the first one to be announced, and like we said, and I'm reiterating here, you did see it with the GX wave, the most recent one, but going forward, we're going to really stick to it that when we have a new wave, we're going to release the duels to get every deck debuted in anime duels. So we pull the ones from the anime, and they're going to go usually chronological order. We're not always going to stick to that, but we're going to try to, for the most part, go chronological. So with Virtual World, we're going to do all the duels as in the order that they happen in Virtual World. And after every duel will be the deck profile of the new deck. So you just watched Gansley versus Yugi, which was the opening duel for Virtual World story arc. If you haven't, here's a link. And now here's going to be Yugi's deck profile. And next up will be the next duel and deck profile and so on and so forth. So anyway, just to reiterate, so you guys can kind of start to see the pattern we're going for here. And you'll know what's coming. So, Yugi's Virtual World deck, right?
Similar to his Battle City deck.
Yeah, it's very similar to Battle City. We arguably could have made just a spin-off side deck for that, but it just...
It's nice for him to have his own separate Virtual World deck.
Yeah, there's enough cards difference in the way he was played. So, Alpha, and also Beta.
And also Gamma.
So,
no surprise.
Nothing new. The Magnet Warriors. Alright.
Celtic Guardian.
Now, he wasn't played, actually. He was seen in the deck. But in both the dub and the sub, Yugi was looking through his deck for a deck master. He passed Celtic Guardian, out jumps Karibo.
I think he also tapped it when he was choosing cards for his deck, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not something he strictly played, but, it was seen in his hand consistently, or seen in his deck consistently in the old version. We don't always do this. We don't like to add cards that were kind of seen somewhere, but this is a little different. I mean,
it was really established that he had it in his deck, so...
it wasn't some random card that was thrown in. Also, because it's Virtual World, because they were in this environment, there are cards in Yugi's deck, and there's cards in everyone's deck, or almost everyone's deck, that they didn't play in a duel. There were a lot of obstacles in the Virtual World to stop them. They took cards from their deck, like Heavy Storm, to use to get through an obstacle. There were cards in their decks here that were used against obstacles. So not every card will have been played, but they were used or played against an external mechanic. So, Curse of Dragon. Dark Magician, it's going to be... It's in every deck.
The only Yugi deck it's not in is Yugi Ceremonial Battle.
Right, because Yami had it. So, but, yeah.
Other than that...
Gazelle.
A lot of this is just straight from Battle City.
Mystical Elf.
That's straight from Duel's Kingdom. Nice to have Yugi 2000 Defense Monsters again. That's also straight from Duel's Kingdom.
So, this one has a bit of a mix. It goes to Battle City, it goes a little bit in Duel's Kingdom, and as well as some new cards. Now, throwing back is Blackluster Soldier and Magician of Black Chaos.
Neither of which is in his Battle City deck, so there is enough of a difference that even though it felt similar, we wanted to really give him his own deck, because he used cards like these again. Beautiful, beautiful rituals. God, they are so cool. For how cool they are.
So, and like we said, one of those obstacle cards was 4-star Lady Book of Doom, helping get through something, but the cards came from the deck, so it kind of... it was presumed in his deck.
Got a solid effect.
Very new card.
Burfomet's
back.
Just goes along with Gazelle.
Big Shield Gardener.
Standard.
So this is looking a lot like his Battle City deck. A lot of the notable changes are... I mean, it's really his Battle City deck.
I think we've gone over a lot of the notable changes in the monsters. There's a couple new cards in the monster lineup, but... Yeah. Dark Magician Girl, also from Battle City. Introduced it in Battle City, and he continued to use it into Virtual World. By the way, guys, you can see our deck lists typed up in our deck list document. So if you're new or you just don't know that yet, any deck we deck profile, all the Virtual World decks we deck profile, and we'll have the deck list typed up.
Yeah. And like we said too previously, we've reformatted that. So if you saw it from the beginning, you know it was really just a list. We've reformatted it now that it's by instead of being completely alphabetical, it's the characters are alphabetical within the seasons, which are arranged chronologically
according
within
to series.
Yeah. We also have a new thing at the top where it'll say in italics, it'll say updates. So if you check the list, there may be cards we changed around a card or two. It doesn't warrant a deck profile. Maybe it's a minor characters deck. Maybe just 2 cards. Maybe it's something that was new that was added, like a brand new card for
But we made
release.
a change.
Yeah. So we'll put little updates there so you can also see if a deck changes. We'll say, hey, this deck had a small change. Without having to go figure out which deck was changed. It'll say we replaced this. Anyway, so we're trying to seed a few more things in there to make, it easier for you guys so you can go through, see our deck list, see some changes we make here and there, and get more information without us having to always make videos. We're still going to make videos, of course, for deck profiles.
Yeah.
But small changes here and there.
You guys can just check out that.
All right. New card time. A new card that wasn't even really a new card. Dark Magician Knight.
Ooh, baby, look at that.
Now, this card can only be special summoned with the effect of Knight's title, which tributes Dark Magician for Dark Magician Knight. I will tell you, Yugi's deck does have Knight's title.
Even though technically it was played by Joey.
Because, and here's the twist. In the anime, Knight's title acts a lot like Metal Morph. It makes a warrior monster, it makes a spellcaster monster a warrior type. And that transformed Dark Magician to a warrior. No additional card was played. So it's very much like, Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. That it's just Red Eyes with metal armor. However, unlike Metal Morph, which does actually equip to Red Eyes and have an effect, this card specifically summons and only exclusively summons Dark Magician Knight. So it was card played by Joey, but because of the way the effect was translated to the TCG, Yugi has both cards, so he can make Dark Magician Knight, which really is just a transformation of Dark Magician. It's not a new card.
So yeah, that's that.
Another new card. Yes.
Volsgalf.
Yeah, kind of a mouthful there.
Pronounced.
So, destroys the monster battle, send it to the graveyard, inflicts damage to your opponent. And then also, when a quick play or normal spell resolves, it gains attack till the end phase. So, 2200 attack,
not bad.
Being 1 tribute, and then it inflicts damage and gains attack.
Cool card.
It's definitely capable and I guess equipped. That it can boost itself up and hurt the opponent. It's not, something maybe that even takes time like Legendary Fiend. Karibo was a deckmaster.
Yeah, it was his first deckmaster.
Karibo jumped out.
Karibo was like, pick me, and Yugi was like, I hate my cards and I don't respect you, Karibo. Why'd you make me pick you? I wanted another card because you're garbage. It's actually one of the only times that Yugi was like sort of mean. He was like, oh, like he actually visibly was angry.
He's like, no, Karibo, I needed a real card in this
battle.
battle.
Like literally, like.
All right, I will quickly say, unlike the Big Five, and unlike some of the characters in the Virtual World wave right now, the Heroes wave, Yugi does not have any of his Deckmaster effects incorporated. This is for 2 reasons. One, he did have 2 Deckmasters, so he could try to include those. They are a bit trickier of effects. Plus, we do have enough cards to give him to get a deck.
Unlike Big Five characters.
And he didn't really revolve around it as much. The Big Five all chose Deckmasters for their effects. And some of the characters we have, it just helped the decks be more fluid and playable. Right now, we're not really looking to do anything with Deckmaster effects because A, they're tricky, and B, everyone's deck would be like less than 40 cards and some less so. So, because you remove the Deckmaster, it comes out of play. It's a mechanic we'd like to at some point, but we're not doing that right now. Because we've built the Deckmaster effects into decks, especially the Big Five. They have 3 copies of the Deckmaster and at least 3 copies of a single card.
To replicate
so to have those cards in their decks and have them have their effects will be a bit much. So, anyway, moving on. Another new card, Mirage Knight. Now, this is a bit of a tricky thing. We really try not to include cards in characters' decks they absolutely cannot play. And because of the way Dark Magician Knight is or was, we gave Yugi the Knight's title. Because if Joey had it the card worked differently. This card works just like it did in the anime. With the exception of one small change, it's not really relevant right now. But so the problem is Yugi cannot play this card without Dark Flare Knight. He cannot play Dark Flare Knight without tag gluing with Joey. So this card, he can't use at all. But
we felt it was necessary to include it just because of its significance in his deck.
I mean, we're not going to put it like in the extra deck. We've thought about that for other cards, but this card we didn't really want to.
We try to minimize like erratas and changes like that as much as possible. So I mean, Konami changes the effects, and we sort of just have to go with what we're given. Sometimes we do erratas to mitigate that. Sometimes we just have to take what we're given.
So we're not gonna, kind of change the card in the way it's played by making it maybe an extra deck monster, and we're also not going to errata it. Its anime effect is identical, except that when the card's banished from its effect, you can special summon back Dark Magician and Flame Swordsman from the graveyard if they exist there when he's banished back. So it acts like a diffusion for
its own materials.
Not that it diffuses Dark Flare Knight, but it diffusions the effect where it brings them back to the field. So ultimately, we just don't feel like that last effect is really important enough. The card does the main thing it needs to, which is essentially get over and destroy Five-Head Dragon.
Yeah.
Not that we have that yet, as we mentioned, but down the line, once that works itself out. Alright, so Obnoxious Celtic Guard, which
was pretty prevalent.
I know we kind of mistakenly had it in Battle City for a while. It kind of made its debut here, which means that this deck has two forms of Celtic Guardian.
Which is pretty cool. We'll see if they're ever on the field at the same time.
So, Sengan, Swift Gaia.
Ooh, baby, look at that.
Even though we've used the card previously in our decks, the Virtual World marked the first appearance of Swift Gaia.
Yeah.
And as well as coming with Obnoxious Celtic Guardian, started to show the trend of effect monster variants of monsters Yugi originally used, going back to Duel's Kingdom, like Gaia and Celtic Guardian.
Which is pretty cool. I like that they did that.
Yeah, they were also all in like the same wave of collector tins, which was so awesome when it came out, for those of you who remember.
Yeah, that was that Voice Raider in there too, and Rocket Warrior and Guildford.
I don't know if it was that or they were waves that came out together. There was a point a while ago though. Konami pushed out a lot of anime cards.
Yeah, like Total Defense
tins.
Shogun.
So it was Total Defense Shogun. It was Swift Gaia. It was Obnoxious Celtic Guard. I think those were together. And then you also had Rocket Warrior, Panther Warrior. You had Guildford the Lightning. Those were together.
Force Raider. Those were in their own separate tins.
So you had a lot of anime cards coming out in tins. I wish Konami would do that again because it was
#,
so awesome.
Nostalgia.
All right, coming back to this.
The Rock Spirit.
He's got plenty of Earth monsters, so it's an easy
cool to use that.
And the last monster, like we've seen so many times, always goes together, is Valkyrian. So
make your Magna Warriors into something more powerful if you ever get the chance.
And onto the spell cards. Again, it's a lot of cards we've seen, so I'm just going to go through it quickly. It's the rituals for ritual spells.
Yeah, not much to say there. Bringing them back from Duel's Kingdom.
8 stars a piece, so it's costly, but
just to be Valkyrian.
Card destruction.
Another one was Battle City cards he just kept on using. This really is just a mix of his Battle City Duel's Kingdom decks with a few cool new tricks like Dark Magician Knight, Mirage Knight.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had some powerful monsters that came with this, but the spells and traps and most of the monsters are, a blend. Kaiba had, an interesting deck, which we'll talk about one in his deck profile, but it was very dragon-focused. A lot of new dragon cards.
Yeah, he did shift to dragons.
And then we saw people like Serenity Duel more in depth.
For the first time. Which I'll tell you a little bit.
Okay, so the next card is a card you've seen in numerous deck profiles and in numerous duels. But there's one small change. Card of Sanctity. So this card has an errata. we've explained this multiple times. This card has a white sticker. That's one and the same. Starting with this wave, this being the first wave of our first deck expo and our reorganization of things, the reorganization of the deck list document, in an effort to make everything more streamlined. So you see the pattern of our duels, a debut duel, and the deck profile of the new deck. These white stickers will start appearing on all the cards we have currently in the errata document, so that as the duel's going on, we can play a card. You see a white sticker, and you'll know this card has an anime effect or a variation of the anime effect, and maybe a little bit more of a down-to-earth effect. Or sometimes, if it's an effect, it may have no effect. There are a lot of what we have as effect monsters. They were normal in the anime. Sometimes we want to change that, because the card has a great competitive effect, but it's not something we want to see in our duels. So the white sticker will just mean errata. So you can go check that document. Again, it's all, in these
public.
It's all public. It's in these videos. It's in the description. So it's meant for a faster playstyle. While we're dueling, we can play the card. You see the sticker. You can check the list. So we don't have to highlight this as much. We're still going to drop it here and there so that new viewers can see and figure out, because you guys, or even people who watch all our videos, but maybe you missed this one, so you really wouldn't hear me talking about you. You'll see what the white stickers mean, and it'll make it more noticeable in a duel to help remind everybody, and maybe sometimes ourselves. Okay, back to basics. Dispel, exchange. I mean, there's a lot of, stuff. So, Heavy Storm, like we said, kind of help get through obstacles.
Kind of had it too.
Yeah. Polymerization, Monster Born, Swords of Revealing Light. A lot of staple cards
Classic
Yugi. So, it just, again, this deck is very, very simple. Alright, and then on to the traps. It's 4 traps, so this deck is, again, unlike Yugi's Battle deck, which has, 10 traps.
12, I think.
12.
14.
It has at least 10.
It has a number so high we can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Yugi's deck has at least 10 traps. Traps tend to be the smallest percentage of a deck. They usually tend to be monsters, then spells, and traps. And this one has 4. So, Dark Renewal. He picked up something from Arcana, apparently, right? This card works.
Konami was like, wow, we gave Arcana... Not Konami, whoever makes the show was like, wow, we gave Arcana a bunch of cool Dark Magician cards. Now we're just going to make sure Yugi has every single one after he dueled Arcana.
Yeah, pretty much throughout the rest of the series, Yugi has
stuff.
Dark Renewal...
Thousand Knives, Dark Magic Curtain.
Yugi's Mirror Force.
Classic.
Magical Hats. Hey, another white sticker. And Nutrient Z,
which Joey had in Battle City. Yugi was like, cool trick, Joey.
Alright, now last card is Chimera, which you probably could have figured out because he has
Gazelle and Baphomet.
Yeah. Now, he does not have Dark Paladin. He did not play it in there, and we could give it to him because he can always make it. At the same time, it's not just a matter of can he make the monster. It's also a matter of did he. And if we omit Dark Paladin, we can't make that play in a duel, and that brings our authenticity up a little bit in the fact that, if we do a duel, Yugi can't beat Gansley with Dark Paladin. It's not super relevant. It's not a big thing. But on the plus side, a Yugi Gansley duel doesn't have a win by Dark Paladin. You won't see a monster he didn't play, even if he maybe could have. And last is, it's Dark Flare Knight. So,
if we ever do a tag duel with Joey.
Which, again, is always a potential, especially if we can get the big 5 United deck worked out. So, Dark Magician, the Flame Swordsman, it took all the way up into the Virtual World, although, granted, that's still not even that deep into the series, to see a fusion between Yugi and Joey's, more signature monsters, Dark Magician and Flame Swordsman. We did, however, see Black Skull Dragon, so we saw Summon Skull and Red Eyes, which were also very key monsters, especially in Duelist Kingdom. Because Battle City, Joey didn't even have prize, and Yugi won it and didn't play it, so really just kind of disappeared for a season. But so Dark Magician, Flame Swordsman, and some effects though. It's not just a oh hey, here's a fusion. Its stats are 22,800, so it's stronger than Flame Swordsman, not as strong as Dark Magician. And any damage to the controller of this card from battle involving this monster becomes 0. So you can't take damage from it. Again, was key in the duel with the Big Five. And then when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, aka its effects all line up so you can ram it and not take damage, you special summon Mirage Knight from your hand or deck. As an aside, if this is in Yugi's deck, if we did a Yugi Joey tag duel,
Joey would be able to summon this from Yugi's fusion deck.
We would allow the rules so that Joey could summon this as well, and if this is destroyed, Yugi can summon his Mirage Knight from his deck if Joey's Dark Knight was destroyed. Tag duels are different, and we want this to blend more like the anime, so we're going to have the card set up that, either one of them could make it, and then if Joey has it, it still gets out Mirage Knight. It looks better that way. It's more fun. We don't have to be as super strict. We're strict about some things, but this is, hey, whatever. All right, cool looking card. All my yammering aside, this has been Yugi's Virtual World deck profile. Stay tuned. Next up, Taya versus Crump.
Followed by, assumably, a deck profile of whatever new characters in that duel.
Hey.
And more Virtual World stuff after that.
Keep watching through this. Keep watching. Stay tuned. After this wave is over, we're going to have a little bit of downtime. And then, but just very much afterwards, will be our tournament. So stay tuned. Again, that's going to be a tournament we're doing here with decks like everything else. But it'll be in tournament format, so the list will be published so you can see what all the matches are going to be, and then as we go through, you guys will be able to see who's going to come up next.
And we'll see which one of our decks comes out on top.
But I'm done, I promise. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for everything else we have. More deck waves, more duels. This has been YG Anime Games. Blue.
Delta.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Facebook, and check out the links we kept mentioning because, it's about us having some transparency. It's really cool. We typed this up for you guys. Because we love you guys. And
YG Anime Games out.